Baby, so go. God that I need. Baby, so go.
So here I am starting with the Procreate pencil that's already in the app, comes with it. And I usually like to start my sketches off in pink or like a lighter base color. I don't necessarily like to start in black. I don't usually do my sketches in black. I don't know why, I just don't. So I do like to do a lot of not like a lot, but I do like to do a few guidelines to help me get the placement of where I want my features to go. But I just realized that the nose is uneven. But it's okay. I like it because of doing the placement, because even though I used to be very good at my proportions, because I stopped doing art for so long, my proportions have been really off, especially when I'm trying to draw in realism. This is not necessarily realism, it's like cartoon realism, so I don't really have that much of a problem with this necessarily, except when it came for the hands. That's a whole other story. But yeah, my proportions can sometimes necessarily be off. So as you can see, if you notice, I did shorten the face a little bit to get the roundness I was looking for. Round, full face I was looking for. So you can see me here struggling to draw this hand because I did not know what kind of position I wanted this hand in. I really didn't. And I struggle drawing hands so much. I feel like artists who are able to draw hands, like especially like realistic hands with all the details, fingernails, knuckles, and all that stuff, are the elites. Oh, there you go, erasing it and drawing this weird, I don't even know. It didn't look realistic to me. It didn't look like a actual hand position. Like, I know it is, but the proportions didn't look right to me when I was drawing it. So I was like, okay. It doesn't look as bad from the video, but when I was drawing it, it looked horrible. So I just undid it and went back to the what I had originally. I was like, I'm just gonna stick with that. Just gonna stick with that. The way I had to get up and look in the mirror to basically make my own reference for this pose, because I was just not sure how it would look compared to a thicker body. Because when I was finding references of this pose, they were of smaller bodies, and I was like, well, that's not what I was going for with this picture. So I needed to use myself as a reference because I have bigger thighs. So for the hair, I'm not gonna lie, I was having difficulty. I kind of wanted to do some feathered bangs, split feathered bangs, but then I was like, it wasn't giving what I wanted. It wasn't giving. So I kind of just went ahead and went with a high puff because I wanted her to have textured hair anyway. That's usually mostly what I draw. It's what I'm comfortable with. Here I'm just resizing the eyebrows because I wanted to have like a questioning look. So here I am doing the outline for the braid bangs that I wanted in the front and drawing the headpiece. I wish just a little bit that I would have been a little bit more intricate with the headpiece and earrings when I was sketching, but I do love the way the earrings came out. To draw the Anka symbol instead of those, so I'm overall fine with it. And I also didn't go with that top shape because I just did not like the way the top was looking when I started coloring. Also decided to make the nose a little bigger. I rarely ever draw smaller noses. So this is the point where I started coloring, and I used the oil paint brush that comes in Procreate. And usually how I start off my coloring is to color out the whole silhouette of the darkest color first, so that my shadows can already be there, and then just add in the lighter colors as I go to start creating that dimension and features. Doing that also helps with rendering, so that as I go, I'm not worried about trying to add the shadows back in because they're already there. So I'm just adding my lights to create that shadow in the way I want. Here I am starting to draw in the inclusions of what you see inside the crystal. And just to let you know, inclusions basically mean like the slight cracks, extra colors that aren't what you would see like just firsthand looking at the crystal until you start examining it. So I'm adding in this cyan close to turquoise color into the areas where the light would be, because if you can see the reference picture, the areas where you see all the rainbow colors is where areas where light is hitting, and that's the same pretty much if you're looking at a real crystal. Here I'm using my yellows and my orange as my highlighted areas for the nose, and as well as different areas on the cheek. Because even though I'm using the blues, I'm kind of using yellows and oranges as highlights of very brightly lit areas. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you. And I want you to pay close attention to this hand, because I'm still very proud of myself with this hand. The colors in this hand and this leg, in the leg definitely, are very juicy. And they are just amazing. I just love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you. And I did want to go ahead and just talk to you guys every video or so that I show you a new design or old design revamping of my OCs, is to talk to you about really their their character overall. Because these OCs are really for a comic story that I've really been wanting to write for the longest, like really a storyline that I've been running to write for the longest. I don't know if I really want it to be a comic or if I wanted it to be a novel quite yet, so that's one of the reasons why I haven't started. Plus I still haven't finished like coming up with all my side characters quite yet. I have quite an idea of where I want the storyline to go, and I wanted it to be a series. So it's just really also just really starting the process of writing that has pushed me back. Because again, I don't really know if I wanted it to be a comic or a novel quite yet, because I know if I wanted it to be a comic, I probably would have put it on like Webtoon or something, or some other app that you can use to read people's comics. But this is a story that I really have had in my mind since like early high school, and we were just, I think early high school, maybe late middle school, because we were told to come up with like a little comic strip of an original story that for art class. Didn't really have to write the story, just really have the comic strip just for like the artistic side. But I went ahead and wrote part of the story anyway, because it was something that I had been thinking about for a while anyway. So it was like, oh, perfect project, because of, I felt like my art teacher at the time was like kind of reading my mind. I was like, oh, I just need motivation. And so then she came up with the project for us to have. I was like, oh yes, you are reading my mind. I needed this motivation. But then after that, it's kind of like just stayed stagnant, which was really unfortunate. Because I really didn't know back then how to go about writing a story. But really anyway, to go ahead and tell you more about her personality as a crystal, is one thing is that the crystals can change their size, because they're the main characters, the two main characters have amulets that they will put the crystal in to really help their people, because they can amplify each crystal's powers once they are inside the amulet, to really help them out in whatever situation they're in, or what situation their people are in, as far as like the people around them and everything like that. So as for Labradorite herself, Labradorite as a crystal is really considered one of the most powerful protector crystals, and the one that is like connected to your third eye chakra. And that is why I was kind of thinking about maybe adding some else to her, but I think I really want to stay. I want to stay where I have left her, because I don't really like going over multiple character designs to get the perfect one, because once I think of the character, I already have like in my mind how I want their design to be. So I was just going over multiple character designs to get the perfect one kind of seems like a waste of time to me, unless it really is just you're really unsure of which way you're taking it. So with me, I am very sure about which way I'm taking it, so I don't really need to go back and revamp her when she's finished. But anyway, Labradorites are really much a shield for auras and protect against a lot of negativity, whether within ourselves or with other people that are coming towards us, other situations. And Labradorite is really known for being extremely connected to our third eye chakra, which is relatively the pineal gland in your brain. Not to like give you like a whole anatomy lesson or anything like that. I mean, physiology lesson, but anything like that. But it's just Labradorite is one of those crystals that are really helpful to that third eye, which is the gateway into our inner wisdom, intuition, and many other things depending on your spiritual journey. Another thing that Labradorite is really good for is enhancing your self-confidence, taking away insecurity and fear and anxiety. It really like amplifies that sense of calmness within yourself, well, within the user or whoever's wearing the crystal themselves. And so as far as healing, she really is supposed to be like the greatest protector, one that my main characters come to the most for like the great wisdom that they need in order to move forward and what they need to do next to protect and keep their fellow people, their peers around them, because I haven't really decided if I really wanted to make them like royalty or just like, you know, leaders, because I'm not really too fond of the thought of a monarchy, to be honest. So I just really haven't thought that much. I just know that she's one of the main ones they come to in their times of need and trying to understand or figure out their next point and where to go, because she has that aura of being highly trusting and highly trusted. And so she's kind of like, not like a mother figure, but like very much a high, I don't know if you ever had like that auntie that you can go to no matter what the situation is. Like, you know, they're not going to tell your mother or tell whoever that you don't want them to know about what's going on. That's that auntie that you go to. So she's kind of like that. She's kind of like that to them. It's like, that's who we go to no matter what. Because we know she's not going to tell anyone. We know she's going to keep it to us. Keep it between us. She ain't going to tell nobody. Type of thing. And she does have healing powers. But she's more of, her healing powers more deal so, even though she can really heal anything amongst the body and the mind, her healing powers are more so towards anxiety, or things that have to do with the mind. She doesn't really do much of the physical healing. She's more so like, you know, stress healing or blood pressure type things that have to do with high levels of stress, really, or intuitive healing. And yes, each one of the crystals are pretty much like thousands of years old. They're not very new. They're past very much, the thought of them and their whole beings are really much passed down through my two main characters' families. My two main characters' family, they're brother and sister. So the protection of each crystal is brought down through their family for generations. And really much the crystals cannot be hurt. They can be hurt, but they can't be killed. But they can be there. how do I explain this? The intent, depending on how the user is ever using the crystal, their power can change and become corrupted. Just not to give too much. Their powers can be corrupted and changed to where it turns out into be a negative. What their normal powers are supposed to be, they can quickly turn into a negative depending on the user, or whoever's around them that could possibly turn their whole mindset or thought process negatively towards what's going on. They're not like easily swayed at all, but once they are, it's hard for them to go back. It's hard for them to like heal their own selves. I'm kind of much rambling on, because I really don't write scripts for my voiceovers. I just kind of come tell the information as I go, because new ideas come up. So maybe I should start writing a script, but I really don't have much of a want to, because I don't want to make my videos too complicated on myself, because once they start getting way overly complicated, I must fall off, and I really don't want to do that. So I really hate that I ramble, but it's a thing since I have ADHD. It's just a thing for me.
I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you.
One thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned about Labradorite and the rest of my crystals in my collection is that you'll be able to decipher or tell how powerful they are by looking at their skin and the way it looks. And what I mean by that is that the darker their skin, that's where their power started off. So it's like the darker their skin, the more powerful they are starting out when they like first start getting their powers. And then the more inclusions, which I think I did mention earlier what inclusions are, which are like the marbling effect or cracks inside the crystal, the more skin effects that you see along their skin color, the more that they have also shows the more powerful they are, because they'll get more inclusions as they go on to strengthening themselves and their powers and understanding their powers as well. So, and as far as Labrador herself, she is the crystal of transformation and self-reflection. She is very much one that you can kind of, how do I say, she's very much one that you can kind of align with being an empath, because she's able to tell, everyone around her how they're feeling, what they're feeling, and kind of help them change out of it if it's a negative feeling, or heighten it if it's a positive feeling. She can also take on one's feelings to like soak it into her being, but it can, depending on how negative that person's feelings are, it can become very detrimental to her to keep soaking in everyone's feelings. She is also the most powerful protector crystal, and she protects the aura of who's ever wearing her or is in close proximity, and is also a spirit guide. So she's very, very important to my overall story. Don't mind my braid that is getting in the way. Does that a little bit throughout this video.
deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
Yeah, and let me just say, I did do this this coloring and rendering on one layer for future. Most of the time I don't do that, but there are many times that I just do just because I just want to draw to draw. I'm not really trying to be technical. But that's also, especially since I did this a long time ago, about like maybe a month and a half ago, and at that time I still didn't understand like the purpose of having so many layers. As long as you had your basic sketch and everything like that, overall I didn't understand the purpose of so many layers. So, but now that I do, I should do a updated process video. I more than likely might, with at the time of me finishing up editing this video, it is the 26th of September. So yeah, Inktober is coming up. Actually Blacktober. I meant to say Blacktober. So I will probably be having a lot of videos depending on what I can come up with for the Blacktober prompts for this year, because I do have the prompt list. But I do want to do a process video of, you know, how I render, how I choose layers, but I'm still really testing things out still. I haven't found a process that I want to stick to because I kind of just be all over the place. I try whatever I see like on different videos to see if I like it, and I kind of modify it to what I may normally do. So still trying to figure things out as far as that for the most part. I also do want to mention that Blacktober is just gonna be so fun this year. Because now that I can actually find an official prompt list, because I finally started a Twitter account for my art, and I did not realize that the Blacktober prompts, like, they're mostly on Twitter, because for some reason I never really realized that it's mostly a Twitter thing, even though I know it's on Instagram. I don't use Instagram like that. I'll post my art on there whenever I have new art, but for the most part I really hate Instagram. I really hate it. I'm gonna still continue to post on there until I just see it has no purpose anymore, but I just really can't stand Instagram as a whole.
I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
I did really love the thought of making this neck piece for her outfit, because I feel like it overall just really brought the rest of the fit together. And of course it has many names. The one most commonly known that I know of is Masai, or I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, but if I am, could you write the, put the pronunciation in the comments if you like. And I'm so glad that I finally got to the point of realizing that I messed up hella bad right here. Cause like, it's not that bad of a mess up, but it still was just like, how the heck did you not see that? But I'm glad I did fix it, because I would have been very upset at myself if I would have like posted pictures of the finished product of her character design without seeing that. I would have just been very, very upset with myself and probably would have deleted everything. But overall, I was very happy with her outfit once I made the changes, because the off the shoulder shirt, it just looked really, really plain compared to the rest of her, especially compared to like her skin, the neck piece, the hair, makeup. It really looked plain. So goodness. Well, here I'm doing the inclusions in her skin, and like I did mention earlier, the more inclusions that they have, the more powerful they are. But I'm not really sure at what point in, like, once I start writing the comic, the story, and what point did I really want Labradorite to start off at? Like, did she already have inclusions, or is she starting off with none, just a little, a lot? I don't know at where I want her to be in her journey to gain more power, because what I'm drawing here is like when she's at the height of her powers, the zenith of her powers. So showing, like, where she came from, where she started from, I don't know if that will really be highly important to the story. It should be, because she's not like a complete main character, but she's definitely a highly supporting character that is very important to the main characters themselves. Yay, finally making changes to the top. I don't know why, I just really have been wanting to make sure that arms are out. I don't know, it just looks more majestic when arms are out to me. So I was like, why not make her have like kind of like a crystal lies, like a glowing piece for on her arms instead. Kind of like a birthmark. Not really a birthmark. I don't know how to explain it, kind of just rambling, but I felt it looked good. I definitely felt it looked good. conclusions. Because why not? With her, spare no expense, none for power. Because she's just that great, just that beautiful.
Don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
I really hope I'm not the only one jamming out to this music, because I've been jamming out to this music the whole time I've been editing, and it's just like, keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
The road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
This is my first time drawing toes, because I normally don't draw full bodies, so don't come at me, because if I do draw full bodies, I usually draw them with shoes, so don't come for me for these toes. I think they looked alright, but I really did not want to look up a reference picture, because I don't like looking at feet. I do not like looking at other people's feet. Don't judge me. But makeup is definitely giving. Makeup is definitely giving. And I definitely had to come in and do a little bit more on her lips to over-enunciate how juicy they are. Because why not? They are juicy. See, I don't know if it's just because I have big lips and I love big lips because of me being black or whatever, but I really love big lips in my drawings. Cause like, why would I deny y'all of juicy lips when the creator of you has juicy lips? And this is not to pick on anybody who does not have juicy lips.
You're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, you.
And as you can see, I'm kind of going back and forth between brushes that I made and brushes that I found free online for her hair, but for the details in her puff, her bunny tail, these are all brushes that I made. And so these brushes are included in my brush set now that I have up on Gumroad, and you can find them in my link tree that is in the description. But there are a lot more brushes that I have added to that set, including braids, twists, lock variations, a couple for different textures, as well as more curls, coils, kinks, as well as an edge brush, so edge lashes and eyebrow brush, so you don't have to do what I'm doing here now. Drawing every single curl by hand if you don't want to. Some people like to. There are times that I prefer to than to go ahead and use the brush, but there's other times I don't like during commissions that I rather go ahead and get it done quick. So all depends on what you like, but the option is there for you. This is also another one of my brushes. This one is when you see or buy the set, see me using it or you buy it. This brush in the set is called Texture Definer. So this is the brush that I'm using to add texture to the braid and add the different colors. I hadn't yet made a braid brush in my set yet, but I like that I can use this as well as the braid brushes because they're both there as an option now. Here I'm using that same brush to do the eyebrows. I pretty much use this brush for everything really, whether it's texture to braids, twist, edges, eyebrows. This here that I'm using for her headpiece is some free brushes that iris brushes, like the iris of your eye. They're iris stamps that I found on a free Procreate brush website, and I decided to use them for the headpiece because I kind of think they look like beads. Look like they could be like a chain or beads. So I also did add like a little version, a labradorite stone in the headpiece for emphasis. But when talking about my Procreate set that I have on Gumroad, it is a hair set. I haven't added any of my brushes that I have made as far as coloring brushes, rendering brushes, inking brushes. I'm still working on them to add to Gumroad, but my hair brushes are up and there are many on there like I mentioned earlier. But if you do so choose to purchase either one of the brushes in the set of 22 brushes, does come with the texture definer and the edge brush, as well as the brush I use for her bunny tail. But the set of 36, that set, I add new brushes to that set every time I make a new brush for that set. And if you have bought the set at the time of me making new brushes already, the new brush will get sent in whatever email that you provided to Gumroad, and it'll be posted for those only who have bought the 36 set. Posted on my Gumroad post blogs to just for you to go ahead and go download if you didn't see it in your emails. But that's just a little information. If you want further details, I can do so in another video. But yes, it'll be brushes for Procreate will be one of my many digital products that I will be selling. You know, making my art into a career. And I also will have some videos up on how I make some of my brushes, not really necessarily all, but just to help out anyone who wants to learn how to make their own brushes for them to use, to even sell if they like. But not every single one, but just like, a few here and there.
Don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
And this is me finishing up the last little details that I wanted to add to this picture. I wanted to do a background, but back then I really wasn't into concept art, so haven't figured that out quite yet. But I hope you overall like the finished product, and I really hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And this is just me posing for a possible thumbnail, but I'm cute, so it's okay. Hope you have a nice rest of your day, love. Bye.